I'm Jim Viola, President and CEO of HAI. Welcome to this month's edition of VFR, Viola's Flight Report, where we review what HAI has been doing for you. Later in this video, Chris Martino, HAI's Senior Director of Operations and International Affairs, will be speaking with Scott McKenzie, Chair of the New Zealand Helicopter Association, and Air Marshal Arvind Batola, President of the Rotary Wing Society of India. They will speak on the issues confronting their members in New Zealand and in India. I think you will also hear how many of their concerns are the same as yours. But first, I want to talk about an important part of HAI's mission: to be the leading global voice in promoting safety, community compatibility, professionalism, innovation, and the economic viability of the VTOL industry. When I became President and CEO of HAI in 2020, one of my goals was to make HAI truly an international organization. Ours is a global industry, and the HAI membership reflects that. We have members in 64 countries, and our members operate aircraft on all 7 continents, including Antarctica. Around the globe, HAI members accomplish missions ranging from keeping the lights on to keeping people safe. Our work is something that we can be very proud of. And I'm also proud of the growth in HAI's engagement with the global VTOL industry. For one, we are working closely with the European Helicopter Association to plan the European ROTORS 2022, the VTOL Show and Safety Conference. This event brings together the entire European vertical aviation community, operators, manufacturers, and the European regulator EASA. Last year's show was the first, and it was very successful and well attended with visitors from 36 countries. This year, European ROTORS is back in Cologne, Germany. The program includes a training day on November 7th before the official start of the conference, which is November 8th. The Career Day on Wednesday, November 9th, will feature opportunities for experienced rotorcraft professionals as well as programming where students can learn more about our industry. There will also be Rotathon competition, where teams of students compete to develop new solutions for pressing issues in the VTOL industry. And of course, there will be an exhibit floor filled with the latest aircraft and technology. Last year's show hosted 160 exhibitors, and we have already 180 for 2022. I hope you will join me there. HAI also supports collaboration across the worldwide vertical lift community. Our International Partnership Program, or IPP, reflects this commitment. The IPP is a group of associations that represent their country or region's VTOL industry. On a regular quarterly basis, HAI brings together these partners to discuss our concerns and work on solutions. IPP members have collaborated on issues such as response to the COVID-19 pandemic and the establishment of unified positions on safety. As President and CEO of HAI, I can tell you that my members are concerned with improving safety, developing a sustainable, skilled aviation workforce, lowering insurance costs, and integrating the next generation of vertical lift aircraft into the global VTOL fleet. If you are watching this video, then I am certain that at least one of these issues is a challenge you also face, and your counterparts across the international community are dealing with them as well. That is why I believe so strongly in the International Partnership Program. By participating in the International Partnership Program, associations gain increased situational awareness about what is going on across the global VTOL community. Sharing our knowledge, our priorities, and best practices helps us all work more efficiently and reach our goals sooner. I would love to hear from leaders of other regional or national vertical lift associations who are interested in collaborating on our shared issues. If that describes you, please contact me at president@rotor.org to discuss how we can work together in the future. HAI also supports the Vertical Aviation Safety Team, or VAS, which grew from the International Helicopter Safety Team, which started in 2006. VAS has one mission: to improve safety to all segments of the global VTOL industry. Team members include regional safety teams, civil aviation authorities, and other stakeholders. The first VAS Global Conference was held earlier this month, and it was a great success. The theme of the conference was that the vertical lift industry will begin a new era by collaborating to improve our shared safety culture. More than 30 speakers from all over the world shared their insights and lessons learned. If you could attend, then I hope you found the VAST Global Conference to be a valuable event. And if you could not make it for this one, then please watch the VAST website for news about the next. You will also find a wealth of safety tools, videos, and resources there. Our goal is that everyone should be a member of the Vertical Aviation Safety Team. HAI is also working with our partners at VAST to make our safety messages easier to share. Our Spotlight on Safety program produces a poster each month on a different safety topic, ranging from tool control to safety culture. Now you can download these posters in 6 different languages. Visit rotor.org/SOS to find this month's poster on spatial disorientation in English, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, and Spanish. And HAI is working with other VAST team members, such as Airbus, to widen global access to traditional aviation safety content, such as the popular Dirty Dozen posters. If you have suggestions for what materials you would like to see translated, send them to info@vast.aero. And now, let me throw it over to Chris Martino, Scott McKenzie, and the Air Marshal Arvind Butula, who will discuss key issues facing their members.
Thanks, Jim. Hi, I'm Chris Martino, Senior Director of Operations and International Affairs here at HAI. One of the responsibilities I have at HAI is the coordination of the HAI International Partnership Program, or the IPP as we call it. The HAI International Partnership Program can be thought of as an alliance of the major international industry associations that support the vertical aviation community. Currently, we have 10 aviation industry organizations from all over the globe that participate in this program. Under the IPP, these organizations meet quarterly to discuss the major issues that impact the international vertical lift community and to work towards solutions to problems. The overarching vision of the IPP is to improve safety within the industry, as well as to strengthen the economic viability of the community. So today I'm honored to be speaking with the leaders of 2 of these distinguished organizations. With us today we have Scott McKenzie, who's the chair of the New Zealand Helicopter Association, and Air Marshal Arvind Butula, president of the Rotary Wing Society of India. Gentlemen, it's a sincere honor to have you here with us today. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Chris.
So in the few minutes that we have together, I'd like to take advantage of this opportunity and for each of you to basically share with the audience some of your thoughts of things that are going on. So the one major question that I have for both of you is, and I guess I'll start with you, Scott, can you share with us and the audience just a little bit about the issues and the priorities that the vertical aviation industry is seeing in your area? And also perhaps maybe tie in a little bit about how the international partnership programs or something like the Vertical Aviation Safety Team, the international organizations can help members deal with these issues. Scott?
Yeah, sure thing, Chris. So the New Zealand Helicopter Association is very strong in New Zealand, and it builds on the back of the Agricultural Association, Aerial Applicators Association. And so at the moment, what we're dealing with is we're dealing with district plans and regional plans, which are coming up. They have 10-year plans, which they're currently collating and then consulting with at the moment. And they're putting restrictions in for helicopters, and that's basically looking at restricting the number of movements that they have. So we're heavily involved in providing them guidance, and what turns out, it looks like that noise specialists are giving guidance to councils without actually any understanding what the helicopter industry does. Other one is that we're dealing with the increasing sort of regulation and the intersection of how that works with health and safety laws, and how we're grappling with the introduction of recent health and safety laws as well. And another one is manpower, how we're dealing with manpower as we come out of COVID, which saw the industry really struggle in many areas, and other areas it really advanced. How we're going to deal with the rapid increase in tourism. The other element that we're looking at is the safety management systems, and how that now we've embedded that in right throughout the Part 135 and 137 helicopter aviation. We're looking at how that's going to be used with regulatory monitoring and surveillance in the future, trying to figure out what's going to be the steady state. And how that's one of the things that's been really valuable for us here in New Zealand is coming into the IPP and sharing all of our experiences. HAI has done great work in the VAST and also pulling us together to discuss the issues. And what's really stark is that everyone's got very similar issues right across the globe, but each of us are dealing with it at a slightly different time. And I find it really valuable to talk to the other industry associations and get the information. We also pass information and resources to each other. And for us here in New Zealand, that goes into our Aviation New Zealand weekly newsletter or into our quarterly newsletters for the Helicopter Association as well. And that's really valuable for us.
So thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. Air Marshal, over to you, sir.
Thanks, Chris, for having me on this panel. It's an honor for me. Before I move on to the activities here, I'd just like to cover the Rotary Wing Society of India, which is known as RWSI, came into existence in 1998. And in last 24 years, we have been working towards improving things in the helicopter industry in India. We also involve ourselves in disseminating knowledge, conducting seminars, and also safety audits in the industry. And our helicopter industry here in India started in 1950s. In fact, to be precise, 1954, and the growth in initial years was very slow. It is only in 1990s that we saw growth in helicopter industries, peaking in 2012 when we had around 294 helicopters. But since 2012, their number of helicopters in the industry have been steadily declining. In fact, in last 10 years, since 2012, there has been a decline of almost 18 to 20%, and the numbers have gone down to about 239. And more interesting is, out of this 239, only 176 helicopters are involved in the commercial operations, rest being helicopters of the state agencies and the PSUs, which are the again government agency. And within this 176, 81 helicopters are from three big helicopter operators, and the balance 95 are with 43 other small operators. That means all these small operators have 1 to 3 helicopters, which at times make operations quite unviable. And this means that basically the helicopter industry with small operators is generally a unorganized industry, unlike the airlines, which are very well they are well organized and they operate that way. Now, as the majority operators are small operators, it does make it difficult for them to at times make sure that quality service is provided or even complies to the regulatory requirements. In addition, there are several other regulatory issues which at times are a big hindrance for the small operators. And what we as RWSI have been doing is addressing these issues which are facing the industry so that we make it more financially viable and operationally easy for the operators, and especially the small operators, to operate. For this, we do interact regularly with the regulatory authorities, which includes the Director General of Civil Aviation, Airport Authority of India, and Ministry of Civil Aviation. At times, we do also, through them, take up matters with the Ministry of Finance to make sure that they are not taxed at unduly high rates. We have been conducting recurrent courses for the industry because especially small operators, like I said, they do not have that infrastructure. So we do help them out in conducting the recurrent training as required by the regulator. As of today, we have almost 1,400 life members out of this industry and 187 corporate members. We are also interacting with the three armed forces, and we've been thankful to the three services. The chiefs of Army, Navy, and the Air Force are our patrons, so that's a big help. We've been also conducting the safety audits of the industry, and by doing that, helping them out to meet the regulatory requirements. Now, coming to the IPP, last 1 year we've been interacting, and it definitely is a platform where we can share the issues which we are facing. And to be very frank, while interacting with the IPP members from various countries, what I realized is the problems which we are facing are almost similar to what other countries are facing. And the moment we come to this platform, there are inputs which we get, which help us definitely to address the issues and give us ideas how to handle the issues which are facing. In fact, there is more for us to learn from HAI interaction which you have during IPP than us giving them inputs. I realize that things are today globalizing, the problems are global, and the solutions, of course, I'm sure, we will find on this global platform. So I'm hope that over a period of time we find these global solutions to the global problems. Thank you, Chris.
No, absolutely. Those are great points that you made, sir. It's just very interesting that we're seeing things that are very similar, in different parts of the world that are very similar issues and very similar priorities. So I have one here for both of you because this is interesting. It has to do with the future of our industry. Very exciting times ahead if you think about it. When you think in terms of these new aircraft, electric vertical takeoff, or hydrogen fuel cells, things like that. So can you discuss, with the advent, if you will, of the advanced air mobility sector of the industry, how are things going in your region as far as bringing on of unmanned systems or automated systems or new electric aircraft? And we'll start with you, Air Marshal. How's things going with advanced air mobility and new technology?
Definitely, Chris. Advanced air mobility is the hot topic today, and in fact, here in India, the UAM is thrust area for the Prime Minister also. In fact, a lot has happened in the last 1 year. The new policy, which lays down how to go about it, has been issued at a national level. 3 months back, there was a drone festival which was inaugurated by the Prime Minister. In fact, his interaction gave a lot of positive energy to the entire industry. And the participant, I was surprised to find the number of participants there. I didn't know that much of work is going. We had almost 60 to 70 participants with their machines which are in advanced stage of development. However, there are few bottlenecks and which we'll have to address, and these are basically, number one is the standards for the manned and both unmanned vehicles for in future, or that is the eVTOL machines. Certification would be the next, because as of now we have not reached that stage where we had to certify these machines. But when we do reach there, this is going to be a issue, because as of now the system is not in place. And third is going to be the air traffic management, because we're going to have a mix of manned and unmanned eVTOLs and normal traffic which is there. And the biggest clash is going to be at the lower level of helicopters and these eVTOLs, both manned and unmanned. We need to find solution. We need to start thinking towards that, so that once we reach that stage, we handle it in a better fashion. Thank you, Chris.
No, very, very good points. How about you, Scott, New Zealand? What's the state of the next generation of rotorcraft?
So we've been really fortunate in New Zealand that we've had some of the big players who have been doing their R&D in New Zealand. One of them being Whiskey Row, There's been also from a space perspective, Dawn Aerospace, we've been sort of led into the space fraternity by Rocket Labs, even though that's not advanced air mobility, coming right back to turning some manned aircraft into unmanned aircraft. So the full sort of suite. And it's been really advantageous. The government's been helping out. However, just as what Arvind said with respect to India, the certification requirements and the regulatory requirements are significantly lagging behind. And globally, standards, I know the RCTA standards have sort of set out about 8 to 10 years ago, but nothing's really caught up. And I've read through quite a number of concept of operations that each of the operators are putting out, and it looks very much like helicopter operations until you get into the air traffic control and the autonomous vehicle side. So I think the industry is looking forward to that sort of Jetson type style or Back to the Future type style operations, fully autonomous, but actually the steps haven't been put in place. So we've got some real challenging times ahead of us. I think in Australasia, who will be forging ahead, but right around the world. And even just managing down to the level of that, the requirements of competing stakeholders. The stakeholders are the vehicle manufacturers. They got their foot right on the gas, but the other side, some of those enablers are, and even the infrastructure is probably sort of 5 to 10 years away. So it'll be challenging times, yet exciting.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And the interesting, I think you both hit a very good point. Is the fact of the matter is it's going to be a very interesting mix of probably what we would consider legacy rotorcraft operators and some new entrants, like you both hinted at. I mean, it's a new time, but again, it's a matter of seeing what what uses they can find for these new vehicles, if you will, and how they can complement what's going on in the national airspaces right now. So again, I agree with you all, but very, very exciting times. But Air Marshal Scott, that's all the time we have today, unfortunately. So I just wanted to thank you for your time and your willingness to come sit with us and share with our audience your thoughts and things going on. And I think one of the big takeaways is, in many ways, we're all dealing with the same issues internationally. And that international collaboration is a critical element of the things that we have going on and the success of our future. And for anyone who's watching this who wants to learn more about any of the programs, the IPP, VAST, or other international support programs, you can reach out to me directly by emailing me at the address that you'll see on the screen. So, thanks again, gentlemen. Appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks a lot for having us.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Arvind.
All right. And back to you now, Jim.
Thanks, Chris. And I want to thank Scott and Arvind for being IPP members. This type of international collaboration is key to growing our global industry. So that wraps up this month's edition of VFR. Please email me with your comments or suggestions on how HAI can provide you with better service. Until next time, fly safe, stay safe, and keep those rotors turning.